I've got to ask you first about your teammates' performance there.
Yeah, I'm proud of them. That's nerve-wracking, getting up in front of a bunch of people and having to hit a golf club. Obviously, we're basketball players, so we're not very good at this, but they make this event fun, so it's fun to have them out here.
And what has it been like for you?
PGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one.
Caitlin Clark didn't wake up expecting the internet to explode, the league to tense up, and reporters to start digging for storylines that would spark a wildfire. But that's exactly what happened the moment people started whispering that she was considering legal action after a heated run-in with a reporter. It wasn't some dramatic courtroom threat or a public meltdown. No, it was something far more subtle and honestly, far more powerful. What went down behind the scenes pulled the curtain back on a growing tension that fans had only been guessing about until now, and the moment it slipped out, everything around her suddenly felt a whole lot sharper. See, this situation didn't start on a basketball court. It didn't come from some hard foul or controversial play. It started on a golf course of all places. Clark was standing there, smiling, laughing it off, talking about how proud she was of her teammates for stepping into a sport none of them had mastered. She was completely chill, happy, relaxed. But then came the question that started this entire storm, the kind that sounded innocent, but hit with that tiny edge reporters use when they want a reaction. It wasn't the words themselves, it was the tone, the delivery, the insinuation. And Clark, who has already dealt with more scrutiny than most rookies ever see, shut it down without even raising her voice. But later, once the cameras were off, the story traveled fast, that she wasn't letting this one slide. People who were there say the frustration wasn't about the question, it was about the buildup, months of poking, prodding, twisting headlines, and watching her life become the centerpiece of narratives she never asked for. And when that reporter stepped just a little too far into that territory, insiders said she quietly called her team together, not to rant, but to document everything, to make sure nothing could be misrepresented, to protect herself. That's when the phrase legal action first started floating around, and the internet ran with it. But here's the part everyone became obsessed with. While the online world was spinning, Caitlin Clark didn't fuel the fire. She didn't clap back, didn't shade anyone, didn't post a cryptic message. She just kept going. She played her game. She smiled for fans. She showed up to her commitments. And that silence drove people wild. The mystery of it made the story bigger than it ever would have been if she'd given a quick quote. It made people ask if something behind the scenes really had crossed the line this time. What made things even messier was that all of this happened at the exact same moment she signed one of the biggest non-basketball deals any WNBA player has touched in years. The LPGA partnership wasn't just another endorsement, it was a full-on expansion of her empire, something that instantly pulled millions of new eyes onto women's golf. The LPGA did in one day what the WNBA has struggled to do for years: promote her correctly, pair her with the world's #1 golfer, and turn a routine pro-am into must-see television. And that's where the tension got deeper. Her deal dropped like a bomb across the WNBA landscape. Fans went wild, brands scrambled, sports media locked in. But some players, especially the ones who've dominated the league for years, felt that sting again, that familiar burn of being overlooked, overshadowed, undermarketed. Aja Wilson's comment didn't mention Clark by name, but it didn't have to. It was the kind of line that hits like a dart. So you can make money playing golf even if you miss shots. Everyone knew exactly what she meant. That one line sent the internet into two separate camps. One side defended Wilson, saying she had every right to feel frustrated after carrying the league for seasons without seeing even a fraction of Clark's spotlight. The other side said she sounded jealous, like she was tired of Clark getting attention simply by existing. But the real issue wasn't jealousy, it was fear, because for the first time, players were realizing something uncomfortable. Clark wasn't just taking over the WNBA. She was becoming bigger than the WNBA. She was becoming her own franchise, her own marketing universe, her own gravitational pull. When the rumor about her documenting interactions with reporters surfaced, players started asking what that meant for them. If Clark, who stays composed no matter what, felt pressured enough to consider official action, what did that say about the environment they were all dealing with? The LPGA deal made it worse. Suddenly, Clark wasn't just the face of a league. She was the face of multiple industries. Companies weren't chasing teams anymore. They were chasing her. The WNBA's front office was thrilled. Of course, they needed her, but they also knew this kind of imbalance can tear a locker room in half if it's not handled correctly. Meanwhile, Clark never fed the drama. She didn't defend herself, didn't call anyone out, didn't even hint that she'd heard the noise around her. That calm, that stillness is what actually made the story spiral, because silence is powerful. It creates space where people start filling in the blanks themselves. And when fans found out how her presence single-handedly got that Pro-Am event moved to television because thousands of people emailed asking how to watch her, that's when the story turned into something much bigger than one tense moment with a reporter. It became clear that she wasn't just an athlete, she was a movement. Her fans knew it, her critics knew it, brands definitely knew it, and the league, well, the league didn't know what to do with it, because for every deal Clark signs, for every viral moment she creates, there's another group of players watching, wondering if their time will ever come, wondering why their championships, MVP awards, or decade-long careers never earned them the kind of visibility Clark brought with one rookie season. That tension didn't start with the LPGA announcement, but it absolutely exploded because of it. And while all of that's happening, the rumor about legal action kept boiling in the background. Some insiders said it wasn't about the reporter's question, it was about patterns, about protecting her image as her career expands into multiple industries, about making sure people who stand to benefit from her fame don't twist her words or create false narratives. Others said it was simply her team doing what any high-profile figure's team would do: record everything, monitor everything, and make sure nothing gets taken out of context. That's not drama, that's strategy. Whatever the truth is, it made fans feel like Clark was drawing a line in the sand, that she was finally saying enough. Not publicly, not loudly, but firmly. And honestly, who could blame her? She's been criticized, doubted, targeted, elevated, celebrated, picked apart, and put back together more times in 1 year than most players experience in an entire career. What made this story hit even harder was the timing. Right when the LPGA proudly announced the partnership, when fans were buzzing, when Clark was literally trending across 3 different sports, that one little rumor surfaced. It made the entire sports world freeze, turn its head, and say, wait, what happened? And from that moment, this became more than a sponsorship story, more than a rivalry story, more than a WNBA drama story. This became a reminder of what pressure really looks like when a player becomes bigger than the system they play in. Clark didn't choose that role, but she was built for it. The way she handles criticism, the way she manages her image, the way she never swings back even when she could, those traits are exactly why brands line up to sign her. While others burn time arguing online, she just gets bigger. While others tweet, she signs deals. While others debate, she expands her reach. This whole situation shows exactly why she's becoming unstoppable. Not because she avoids conflict, but because she never lets it distract her from the bigger picture. And if the WNBA isn't careful, if they don't learn how to balance fame, fairness, opportunity, and ego, this tension won't just be a rumor, it'll become a turning point in how the league handles its stars. Caitlin Clark isn't trying to be controversial, she's trying to be great, and sometimes greatness forces uncomfortable conversations. Sometimes it pushes people to confront their own insecurities. Sometimes it shakes an entire league, even when she's not trying to. Whether she actually takes legal action or not, she's already made her point. She knows her worth, she knows her power, and she's not letting anyone, even a reporter, twist that into something it's not.